Okay, publishers tracks the sales of a new book. It's found that in week 1, you actually have 3 to the power of n copies. And in week 2, I sell 3 to the power of n minus 1 copies more than in week 1. So very quickly, if I were to go to the site, I'll just write down that, week 1, I actually sell 3 to the power of n copies. And week 2, let me just call it term 2, right? I will sell 3 to the power of n copies more than in week 1. Sorry, 3 to the power of n minus 1. So that's how my week 2 look like. And in week 3, right, I sell 3 to the power of n minus 1 plus 3 to the power of n minus 2 copies more than in week 2. More than in week 2. This means that my week 3, right, will include what I have in week 2. On top of that, I have 3 to the power of n minus 1 plus 3 to the power of n minus 2 copies more. So this is the part that is more, right? More than week 2. And in week 2, we have this one. This is more than, right, week 1. Okay, so very quickly, right, I want to show by finding and simplifying the number of copies sold in each week from week 1 to week 3 in the form of a to the power of 3n, a times 3 to the power of n. I want to show that the number of copies sold in each of the first 3 weeks form a GP. So looking at my first 3 terms, this is how the number of copies that are sold in each week. The number of copies this is the number of copies that are sold each week. Okay, how do I solve that? So the question tells me I try to simplify it in the form of a 3 power n. So if I observe this, right, maybe I just look at my term 2. I want to simplify. I'm thinking about simplifying to a times 3 to the power of n. Now, how do I do that? Maybe what I can do is here, I just factorize up 3 power n. This term, if I factorize out 3 power n, I'll get 1. For this term, if I were to factorize out 3 power n, I'm just going to get 3 to the power negative 1, right? And this is the same as 3 times 1 plus 1 over 3, which is the same as 3 bracket 4, sorry for the interruption, and 4 over 3. Alright, how about for term 3? Okay, term 3, what we can also do is this. You can see that I use the same idea. For each of these terms, I'm going to take out 3 to the power of n. If I take out 3 to the power of n, if thinking of this form, for the first term, I'm left with 1. For the second term, taking out 3 power n, I'm left with 3 negative 1. For the third term, I'm again left with 3 negative 1. For the fourth term, I'm left with 3 to the power of negative 2. And this just gives me 3 power n, 1 plus 1 third, plus 1 third, plus 1 over 9, which gives me essentially 3 power n multiplied by 16 over 9. Okay, now observe these 3 terms now. Okay, this is 3 to the, this is term 1, this is term 1, sorry, let me use yellow. This is term 2, this is term 3. In what way do they really look like a GP? Alright, so let me rewrite it at the right hand side. Term 1, okay, is 3 power n. Term 2 will be 4 over 3 to the power of 3n. Term 3 would be 16 over 9 to the power of 3n. And you can see, they do somehow look like a GP, right? So you just observe term 2 over term 1, right? Actually, it's the same as 4 over 3. Term 3 over term 2, indeed, you also get 4 over 3. Right, so you can see that term 1, term 2, term 3 indeed form a GP. Form a GP. Okay, with common ratio to be 4 over 3. And then the first term is equal to 3 power n. Alright, that's for part 1. Part 2. Starting from week 3, the number of copies sold each week, actually, so this is the starting from week 3, alright, the number of copies sold in each week forms an AP with a common difference of negative 48. So D is now equals to negative 48. And we are starting from week 3. So that means, right, in this case, the week 3 is actually our first term. So what is week 3? Remember, the week 3 is actually this term. This is week 3. Right, so now from week 3 onwards, right, remember, okay, this is term 1, term 2, term 3. So let's, going back to the start. This is now forming the A, first term of an AP. The first term of an AP. Okay? So we are looking at AP where so-called our first term is from week 3 onwards, from week 3 onwards. Okay? A is equal to 16 over 9 3 power n. Because week 3 onwards, right, there's an AP being formed. The first term is 16 over 9 3 power n. The common difference is negative 48, given by the question. Okay, given that the number of copies falls to 0 in week K, show that K equals to 3 plus 3 to the power of n minus 3. Alright, so what does it mean? We want to show that the number of copies sold, okay, falls to 0. Okay, given that now this follows an AP, right, so what will it look like? It means that here, right, from this onwards, right, the K in that K week, okay, in that particular week, right, the number of copies, okay, drops to 0. The number of copies drop to 0. Alright, from here, given that we have an AP, alright, from week 3 on, this is only from week 1 and week 2. Week 1 and week 2, okay, so from week 3 on, we have an AP. Alright, so the general term for an AP, for this AP, the general term, right, remember, is A plus, right, let's say I call it K minus 1D. Okay, maybe term K. So here we are looking at term K because for which value of K, right, the term will drop become 0. So A again is 16 over 9 based on this AP that we have, right, 16 over 9 AP plus K minus 1, and what is D? D is negative 48. Alright, but if you think about it, this term, how many terms do we have? So you recall, we're actually starting from week 3. We're starting from week 3. So from week 3, right, to week K, how many terms do we have? Right, how many terms? Right, I'm sure you can see, just because you have done sequences and series, we have actually K minus 2 terms. K minus 3 plus 1. So we actually have K minus 2 terms. So over here, do we have put K minus 1? The answer is no. Okay, we actually just put K minus 3 because we are adding the negative 48 K minus 3 times. K minus 3 times. We are not doing K minus 1. We are doing K minus 3 times because we do not start from the week 1. The AP starts from week 3. Okay, so here we need to take away the first 2 terms. With that, okay, right, so this is an AP, and from which there are total K minus 2 terms. K minus 2 terms, right? So from that, we can look at our general term, and we want this, we don't remember what do we want it to be. We are saying that there are 0 copies sold, right? So we want this to be equals to 0. Okay, quickly, let me rewrite this on the next page. Right? This means that we want 16 over 9, term K is 60 over 9, 3 to the power of n, minus K minus 3, 48 to be equals to 0. Alright, and simplifying this, you should be able to get K equals to 3 plus 3n minus 3. So I'll just leave you to give it a try on your own. Alright. Next up, okay, what we need to do, we need to find the total number of copies sold from week 1 all the way up to week K. Keep expressing your answer in terms of n. So what does it mean? So remember just now, what we need to do is we need to sum this week 1, week 2, and from here on, right, okay, what we can do is for this AP, we just sum. We just find the sum of the AP, and then that will give us the answer from week 1 to week K. Okay, so again, remember this is an AP where we have K minus 2 terms. Okay, so remember onwards, okay, so this is week 1, which is 3 to the power of n. Week 2 is 4 over 3 to the power of 3n. And week 3 onwards, all the way to week k, right? We are looking at an AP where our first term is 16 over 9, 3 power n, because that's actually our term 3, right? Our term 3. Our common difference is negative 48, and our number of terms, remember, is equals to k minus 2 terms. Right? So from there, right, what do we do? From there, what do? We now just need to find the sum of this AP. And the sum of this AP, slowly we need to do it, right? So it's not easy, okay? So just maybe n minus 2, n over 2. So in this case, the n is k minus 2, n over 2. Okay? First term plus last term. Alright, so remember our last term, we want it to be, right? What's our last term? Our last term actually is 0, right? Because you know actually last term is 0. Our first term is 16 over 9, 3 power n. So actually it's quite easy because it's the first term plus the last term. So actually it's just 0, right? So with that, okay, we can simplify things further. Okay, so you have to sum first 2 weeks together with this answer here. We just have 3 power n plus 4 over 3 times 3 power n plus, okay, I'm going to let you try to simplify this on your own. Okay, k minus 2. What is k minus 2? Okay, you also know from earlier, this k is the same as 3 plus 3n minus 3, right? Okay, so I'm just going to put it here. This is the same as 3 plus 3 to the power n minus 3 minus 2 over 2. 16 over 9, 3 power n. Right, and I'm going to let you try to simplify things on your own. And from here, you can give it a try. Eventually, you will get your answer to be 29 plus 8 bracket 3 to the power of n minus 3. Okay, and 3 to the power of n minus 2. Okay. Okay, so last one, we want the last question is that we want, for example, I published 20,000 copies of the book, and what's the greatest value of n such that the books will not be out of stock. Okay, so just now we already computed in part 3, we already computed the summation, the total in part 3, right? We have a formula, right? The formula was for the total number of books, right, sold from like week 1 to week k, right? And this formula that we found just now was 29 plus 8, okay, and 3 to the power of n minus 2, right? So what do you mean? We want this to be lesser than equals to 20,000. So what's the greatest value of n such that the books will not be out of stock? It means that we want this to be we do not want it to be more than 20,000. So we want, that means we want 29 plus 8, 3n minus 3, 3 to the power of n minus 2 to be less than the amount of stock we have, which is 20,000, right? And what you need to do is for this question, like it's not too difficult, just use your GC, right? Key in the function on the left, key in the function on the right, find the intersection point. You can see that n, the intersection is actually 6.00376. Therefore, the greatest value of n is equals to 6. Greatest value of n is equals to 6. Okay.